They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
One hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
The process of asset recovery is complex, time-consuming, and often frustrating, as stolen assets are often concealed in foreign jurisdictions. There is therefore the need to have a global action to end safe haven for corrupt funds and assets. Established in 2007, StAR, an acronym for Stolen Asset Recovery Initiative, is a partnership between the World Bank and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC. This initiative works based on Chapter 5 of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, to detect, deter, and recover corruption proceeds. This week's edition features ICPC's effort in regards to asset recovery and forfeiture in relation to the StAR initiative. We have a segment on anti-corruption stories from around the world. We have a segment on ethics and values, drama, and many more. Welcome to Corruption Must Go. I am Murna Barnabas Atiai. Hawasani Garba is here with updates with latest happenings on the war against corruption.
Welcome to this segment of your program Corruption Must Go. I am Hawa Sani Garba. A Sokoto State High Court has sentenced a staff of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, Mr. Anthony Mbanefo, to 2 years imprisonment for embezzling 60 million federal government money approved for the repairs of 2 federal roads in Sokoto State. Mr. Mbanefo, who was charged before Justice Bello Duwale by ICPC, was accused of holding private interest in a federal government contract through which the money was diverted. ICPC, in a 4-count charge, said his actions violated the provisions of Sections 12 and 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. The Commission told the court that the crime was committed in the months of September and October 2013, when Mbanefo, who was a senior technical officer 1, collected 20 million naira on 3 different occasions from contractors handling the road repairs projects. He was said to have collected 40 million naira from Crest Code Nigeria Limited and 20 million naira from Due Length International Limited, the companies handling the road projects, making the money he collected a total of 60 million naira. The money was meant for the emergency maintenance repairs of Jabo Kajiji Kumi and Rimawa Sabon Birni roads, all in Sokoto State. Mbanefo's counsel, Mr. Y. Gwazawa, before the ruling, pleaded with the court to show his client mercy for being a first offender. Justice Duwale, in his ruling, sentenced the accused to 2 years imprisonment without an option of fine. The Federal High Court, Ikoyi, Lagos, presided over by Honorable Justice Rilwan Aikawa, has affirmed the powers of ICPC to investigate allegations of corrupt practices made against any person or authority in Nigeria, even if the allegations arose in civil disputes. This was a fallout of the ruling of the judge when he dismissed a suit filed by 7 persons against the Commission and the Attorney General of the Federation, challenging their invitation by ICPC during the investigation of a matter involving them and one of Nigeria's notable legal practitioners. The applicants were claiming a total of 600 million naira damages for alleged breach of their fundamental rights. In a judgment dismissing the claim, Honorable Justice Rilwan Aikawa held that following the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Attorney General of Ondo State versus Attorney General of the Federation and 36 others, delivered in the year 2002, that ICPC had the statutory duty to investigate allegations of corrupt practices made against any person or authority in Nigeria, that neither the claimants nor the court had the discretion to stop a statutory agency of government from performing its duties. And from the foreign scene, the World Bank debarred Fitchner Group and Company, a giant construction company, for 15 months after a former employee took bribes to influence contract award on a project in Africa. The Stuttgart-based company, with not less than 1,500 employees worldwide, provides engineering services for infrastructure projects, and the sanction was a result of a misconduct that occurred under the World Bank-financed Southern African Power Market project in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It was reported that privately held Fitchner entered into a negotiated resolution agreement with the World Bank before embarking on the project. The company did not contest the accusation that a former employee was involved in corrupt practice. The employee had received improper payments on exchange for influencing a tender process under the project by significantly narrowing competition. The World Bank said Fitchner cooperated with investigation, acknowledged the misconduct, and enhanced its compliance program. That's all from this segment of the program. Corruption Must Go continues with Murina.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
We must hunt for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Give him his shoes somewhere here, his phone and everything.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
Where do you-
Oga, where do you think you are going?
Oh, you never shake body.
Eh?
You never shake body.
Shake
body,
see.
wait.
Eh?
You
Eh?
never shake body.
I no get combo for my body.
You go take for here. Sit down there.
Akoma.
What's this man still doing here?
They say I do shake body. I shake body, I shake body. They say I do this. And I say I no get combo.
You are asking for money.
Sorry, ma.
Asking for money to bail a suspect is an act of corruption. Both of you will be punished. Corruption is not allowed within the force. Remember,
Police is your friend. Giving and taking bribe is wrong.
corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country. Corruption not in my country.
Sir, I came here to find out what the progress is like, sir.
Oh, all is set for the commencement of the exams. Let's say about an hour.
I was thinking we could come to an agreement as to how to help the students.
Exactly what are you insinuating?
We would like to pay you for your cooperation.
Are you offering to bribe me?
No. It's some sort of compensation for your help.
By keeping away while the exam is on?
That's correct.
I will report you to the authority.
Report, Ken. No wonder some of you people die wretched.
What did you say?
I said that you are a man of integrity.
Offering to bribe exam official is corruption. And corruption, not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
The Stolen Asset Recovery Initiative, StAR, is a partnership between World Bank and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. The concept is based on Chapter 5 of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, to detect and recover stolen assets domiciled both within and outside the country. How effective has asset tracing as a StAR tool been for us as a country? Mr. Rahim Adeshino is ICPC's legal practitioner and has this to say based on the Commission's compliance with this initiative.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Welcome to Corruption Must Go.
Okay, thanks so much. You're welcome.
What is the StAR initiative all about?
When we are StAR, the word StAR is an acronym. The full name of that particular acronym is Stolen Asset Recovery. So when you say StAR initiative, it is an initiative of the World Bank Group in partnership with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in the global fight against corruption, particularly in the area of recovery of stolen assets. You know, the World Bank, you understand, is a development bank. It's a 6 member state to develop and grow. But the World Bank has realized that corruption is an impediment to growth and development. You understand? For instance, in 2009, UNODC came up with a report that about $2.1 trillion, which represents about 3.6% of the global funds, it was lost to corruption. This is about $20 to $40 billion every year. So, because the World Bank realized that it's an impediment to growth and development, it now took it upon itself to conceive an initiative to assist international organizations and bodies, you understand, to recover assets. And the initiative is not partnering only with UNODC. It also collaborate with other international bodies and organizations such as G8, G20, FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force, as well as OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation for Development. One of the challenges that countries are facing in the fight against corruption is to recover assets, understand, that particularly assets that are launder outside their shores. If you look at Chapter 5 of the UN Convention Against Corruption, that Chapter 5 is on asset recovery. And the essence of that particular chapter is that countries, that state parties should assist one another in the recovery assets. But the problem the state parties have is the implementation of that particular Chapter 5. So the initiative now comes in to assist state parties to enable them to realize the objectives of that particular chapter. Part of the things the initiative is doing is to develop legal frameworks, you understand, to assist countries, particularly developed countries, because some countries don't have a legal framework to assist them to recover assets. Then the second one, the initiative is also develop the capacity of institutions and personnel in the recovery of assets. Then it's a platform, you understand. The initiative is a platform for practitioners, for experts, for countries that are involved in the recovery of assets. And it also conducts research, understand, and publish the findings. So these are the achievements of the initiative.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has the statutory rights to seize stolen assets as contained in Section 37, armed by its law. The Commission in November 2011 established the Asset Tracing, Recovery and Management Unit to trace and seize assets of suspects through the use of conviction and non-conviction based procedures. Mr. Frank Nanakumo is the head of the Asset Tracing, Recovery and Management Unit of ICPC. He throws more light on the Commission's efforts in this regard.
ICPC seized 62 landed properties from a public official, vehicles from civil servants, and many other seizures. Can you please throw more light on these and any other seizures, if any, and when the Commission began the seizures?
62 buildings you are talking about was seized from one person alone. We have seized more than 62 properties. For the 62 that you are making reference to, we seized them when we were investigating the issue of land racketeering in the Civil Defense Corps. The petition was sent to us by the former Commander General of Civil Defense when people wrote petitions against his officers. We derived our power from Section 6 of the ICPC Act that gives the Commission the power to investigate. And in the present day war against corruption, depriving the suspect from the benefit of whatever illegality is the end thing. If you have an idea about the UNCAC, United Nations Convention Against Corruption, it is a cardinal point there. We are first and foremost, before even any person is sentenced by the court, you deprive them from benefiting from that illegality. And if you go to Section 37 of the ICPC Act, it says, in the course of investigation, if there is any reasonable ground that the proceeds are as a result of corruption, then we have the powers by the provisions of the law to seize the proceeds. And when we investigated this land issue as it affects staff files of civil defense, we found out that there was a nexus between the crime and the proceeds that necessitated the seizure of those properties, which is comprised of both completed and uncompleted buildings. We have also seized buildings like the former chief registrar of High Court, where I think how many millions, some millions was given to him as the registrar to keep. He had to help himself with the money, use the money to buy houses and build houses. When the matter came to us, after the investigation, we seized all those properties. If you go to the website, you will see properties that the asset tracing unit have seized. That is not the only properties we seized. The Niger Delta Ministry, the staffers of the Niger Delta Ministry, we also seized their houses. So on the whole, we have seized many houses. So it's not peculiar to that single suspect. And also, we have, do I call it seizure? We have recovered millions and millions of naira from Nigerians, for government, for private individuals, and others. We are doing it because it is a mandate for the Commission. It's part of our principal function as provided by the ICPC Act 2000.
Thank you, sir. So we understand that ICPC's recoveries have also been extended to assisting corporate organizations, government establishments, as well as the voiceless and oppressed in the society reclaim their stolen funds legitimate entitlements or benefits wherever it occurs through negligence or deliberate corrupt acts of people in official positions.
Yes, as I said earlier, once a petition is sent to this commission, we look at the petition, and when carrying out investigation, we find out that there has been some either fraud, mismanagement, embezzlement, and otherwise. The law permits us to recover. We do recover for government. We recover for individuals. We recover for corporate bodies. And it is, as I said earlier, part of our mandate. ICPC is a law enforcement agency. And in law enforcement, you are supposed to protect and guide. As it regards to us, the property of government and Nigerians. We are doing just what the law permits us to do, and will continue to do as far as people run contrary to the provisions of the Act.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
The theft of public assets by corrupt officials has a major impact in our society. It diverts money from services such as provision of good health care and education. It also erodes public trust and threatens good governance, among many others. Let's join hands with ICPC to rid Nigeria of all forms of corruption by reporting corrupt acts through the following numbers as displayed. Thank you for watching, and see you again next week.